Across the country, students are using STEAM. That's science, technology, engineering, arts and agriculture, and math to build stronger, more connected communities. From New York to Seattle, each city has a story. Each story connects creativity, curiosity, and care for the world around us. Welcome to the National Urban League STEAM experience, where the journey of imagination and experiential learning comes to life. Our first stop is in the Chi, where the students at John D. Shoup Elementary School, together with the educators and the Chicago Urban League, look to nature for inspiration, exploring how plants, animals, and natural patterns can solve challenges. Using science, engineering, and creativity, they imagine ideas that could shape their communities.
Biomimicry is this concept that the nature around you, or like the things around you, can really influence the things that you want to create. We're planning for a National STEAM Day, and that process is us going over the biomimicry with some of our students. In this, we teach them through different phases. We tell them about different products that's designed. It teaches our students to understand that the world around them is the world that they can create, to really use nature as the problem solver.
I'm interested in cooking, and I think you could use biomimicry and they could connect to it, because when you have pots and like they're like sticky or non-sticky, you can like connect that to an animal like that has sticky stuff on them, or it doesn't stick to anything.
We had watched this video and it was about the train. Like when it goes through the tunnel, they shape the front of the train like as a beak of a bird so that it wouldn't make as much noise as it did when it leaves out the tunnel. I think of the way that animals do things. We take that and we turn it into something that we can use, like airplanes. We use the bird's wings, inspiration for the airplane's wings and how to fly. I see biomimicry in cosmetology, because how we use combs to brush our hair or detangle our hair, how cats use their tongues, comb out their fur or clean their fur.
These initiatives, not just biomimicry, but other lesson plans that's encouraged, it teaches the students that there's more to just any career that they might know in their family, but it allows them to embrace what's really out there. I think the push for STEAM is really dedicated towards teaching young people that there's opportunity within engineering, there's opportunity within arts, and how to teach that concept is a little different than the normal approach of just different subjects like English or mathematics. It's more so what career you can land and how you can get into that career.
I think biomimicry will shape the future, because right now people are using a lot of nature's elements and a lot of nature's things. And if we continue to do that in the future, we could advance technology and we could advance the world, and it can become more cleaner than it already is. And we can stop bad things from happening to the environment, and we can cherish it instead of destroying it.
The reason why people should pull from nature, especially in Chicago, when you look at our Black and brown communities, you can see that they have no example or no tailor towards the other communities that have better parks, better resources. And I feel like pulling from nature allows people in that community to know how they can treat that community. It allows them to build those parks, build those resources. And I think that that's very important. I want to take the time to say thank you to our sponsors, Cox Media, for being able to allow these programs to exist. It really does matter to put these into schools because our students, they really do gain a lot from it. So thank you.
I think this leaf has a story to tell.
That's biomimicry in motion. I mean, who would have knew? Designing a train to resemble a bird would quiet down the sounds for everyone around. That's pretty dope. Students look to nature to solve real-world problems, from designing quieter trains to rethinking everyday tools. Through hands-on learning, they see that STEAM isn't just something you study. It's something you do, turning creativity into observation, into innovations that improve communities. These students just didn't study nature, they listened to it. And the way they tied it back to their communities, chef's kiss, total icons. Next, we'll travel to Rochester, where the students in the Urban League's Rochester Urban Garden program take learning outdoors, exploring science, teamwork, and even agriculture as they turn ideas into something that grows beyond the classroom.
Today we are at Blossom Village. It's one of 2 sites that we decided to have an urban garden in the city of Rochester to support our community. So the students started growing regular cabbage, white cabbage, parsley, basil, a lot of basil. We have eggplant and green peppers. Students wanted to have a sustainable piece here. And so we like, oh, well, let's do tires.
Today, we're bringing the students back in from the summer to see all of the hard work that they put in and what it's turned into. So they got to harvest plants from both the locations we were working at. They even got to try tasting them.
They were able to put 2 high raised beds together for the community. They lined them, they built them, harvest crops, washed them, and we gave them out to some of the residents today.
I learned that gardening is quite the process. It takes a lot of patience and a lot of teamwork. It takes a village to set up an environment to grow and cultivate food.
You have to make sure your stuff is in the right environment. You have to make sure it has water. You have to make sure it's not dying. You have to love and nurture it.
I felt more proud of everything I was doing today when we actually went back and seen the process, because wow, we built this. I was actually helping on this project, so it was a relief seeing that my plants actually grow, and I came back and people actually get to eat what I'm planting.
My favorite part was being able to see that we as a community can make our own food and be autonomous with that. A lot of the time we rely on, cheap fast food or what we get at the markets, which isn't always that good of quality.
Grocery prices going up and the disparity in wealth, I think, contributes to a disparity in health. Whereas when you can see it in front of you and you're picking it right off the plant, the health benefits is so much more.
People don't even have access to fresh vegetables in Rochester. It makes me more appreciative of what I have. It makes me not want to be wasteful of food.
My family hasn't always had the most money, and so because of that, a lot of the time I was scared as to where my next meal was coming from or if it would be a healthy meal. And so knowing that I was able to contribute to trying to help with Rochester's food security, I think that was especially rewarding.
I'm also proud that we get to help the community by giving them food so they don't have to go out their pockets. It's free. It's completely free.
When people go by and they see minorities planting and gardening for the community, hopefully they see a better future in that.
We need to keep it going. We need to keep our living spaces healthy, and we need to keep ourselves healthy so that we can actually thrive as a community.
Our garden taught us to nurture, so now it's time to redesign the spaces around us.
By planting, experimenting, and caring for their garden, students are seeing science, math, arts, and agriculture in action. They learn that STEAM isn't just a subject. It's how you observe, problem solve, and grow solutions that help your community thrive. My favorite part? The food garden. I mean, we're all familiar with what food deserts are. They're all over our communities. But these young people decided to take matters into their own hands, build this so that they can have healthy options. I mean, what's better than that? Did you catch that circle of life? These young kids are inspiring their older counterparts to want to breathe more life into the garden, right? And in exchange, they're getting tons of wisdom. This today is how communities learn to thrive. Look at what happened. They're going to be in school certain times of the week and can't tend to the garden. But that older brother was so ready and created a whole blueprint so that this can keep going. I love how the communities come together. It's become bigger than them. Next stop, Chattanooga. Inside the Urban League's Greater Chattanooga headquarters, students are busy building, let's just say they're working on a better hood. With creativity, curiosity, and some hands-on problem solving, they're figuring out ways to make their neighborhoods stronger and smarter.
Tonight, a first responders rescuing people trapped in their vehicles as floodwaters completely covered parts of I-24 this week. Some people tell us issues with clearing drains could have made the flooding problems worse.
Today we are presenting on our STEAM Day 2025 presentation, in which our group, the eco-engineers, came up with the task of solving the flooding that happened within the East Ridge, Tennessee area, tragically in a span of less than 60 minutes, and caused 3 people to die. It caused businesses to shut down. So our group created a new city in which the water will properly flow through a new drainage system, get caught and sent to a proper place so the water could be allocated to be reused, a form of water resource engineering.
Chattanooga flooded for many reasons. First being 6 inches of rainfall that happened in a very short period of time, which drainage systems around Chattanooga cannot handle. Another is oversaturation. The soil was already very saturated from rain from previous days ago, and so it wasn't able to absorb as much as it could have. And lastly, the increase in urban areas and the decrease in greenery, such as trees and soil, made it to where a reduce of natural drainage.
Our students created a 3D model of the local Chattanooga community, and they used a bucket of water to kind of reenact the rainfall that happened on top of that community. And the fact that the water ran over the community was an exact replication of the flood that happened here, showing that the water had nowhere to go.
Well, basically, we made this our rainmaker, and we wanted this to be our rain to make the water come down through our draining system, which allowed the water to get in here. As you can see, it stopped most of the water. And if we take this out, it will allow the water to go into a different area. I'm gonna let y'all see how it works if we take it out.
Implementing those water bottles as the pipe and drain system allowed that water to be collected and stored into a system that allowed the water to be cleaned and reused, so that we didn't just collect the rainfall and have it build up somewhere else, but make it useful for future also.
This right here is representative of the soil before it was oversaturated with water. And as you can see, it absorbed quite a bit of water. And if it wasn't oversaturated with water as it was, this would have been able to absorb quite a bit more and possibly prevents the loss of life that happened, unfortunately.
In our model, we show the major areas of flooding that occurred in East Ridge. The main impacts were structural damage, human casualties, and river pollution to the Tennessee River. What we provide as solutions are better accommodated infrastructures, better funding and financing mechanisms, and to limit future development in high-risk flood zones.
The purpose of building a better hood is essentially for our community to understand that we care about it.
It's very easy to become detached, especially as we hear about tragedies almost daily. So the Chattanooga flood was just another tragedy to me. By becoming more involved and learning more deeply about it, learning about the problems infrastructurally, this was very preventable, and it helped me to actually put myself in the shoes of the people who were in the situation.
My favorite part of this project is just getting to know the people I'm working with and becoming a new leader that I know I can push myself to be. And what I learned is how to expand my mind and have a creative mindset on how to find and invent new things that could help my community or more communities out there in the world.
Like a good neighbor.
Urban League is there.
Come on, bro, come on. And that's how you can build a better hood with the Better Hood Builders.
Students are rolling up their sleeves and turning ideas into real solutions. They use science to understand rainfall and soil, engineering to redesign drainage, math to calculate water flow, and creativity to imagine safer, stronger neighborhoods. By building and testing their designs, they see firsthand how STEAM can help communities tackle big challenges and plan for a brighter future. Before we move on, I got something fun to show you from this past summer. Some of you were there in person, but for those of you who weren't, here's a look at STEAM in action at the National Urban League's Youth Leadership Summit's STEAM Day, where students explored coding, drones, mini cars, and art projects putting curiosity and creativity to work. Wow, that was a peek at all the fun and creativity from this summer's STEAM Day. Now let's head down to Louisiana. At Scotlandville Magnet High School, students in the Urban League of Louisiana's Project Ready program are diving into hands-on projects that connect STEAM to college, career, and community skills, building confidence along the way.
We recreated a fake car crash. We used special effects. We used the actual car from a real car wreck. And we got 2 people to play as the people involved in the accident.
We did like the math part of it. We did the science, like the chemicals and, friction, what could have stopped the crash or to avoid the accident all along.
STEAM Day is a celebration of learning, innovation, and creativity in science, technology, engineering, arts, and math.
STEM Day is an opportunity for our students to be creative with hands-on environmental tools where they don't have to just sit in a classroom and utilize their textbooks.
I created a chatbox AI that's called English One Study, but it helps incoming 9th graders in an English class to help them go over and what they need to prepare in that class for the semester.
We were able to teach our students a marketable digital skill. And then on top of that, give them voice.
Originally, when I got the students, because I'm an engineer by trade, at first they were a little hesitant because it's something new. And when we got on to being creative, I got them introduced to 3D printing, basically just getting them intrigued.
We definitely wanted to make sure that we connected whatever we did this summer to college, career, as well as community.
I plan on giving back to my community by offering some of the knowledge that I learned and helping them broaden their skills as well.
I plan on pursuing a career in STEAM, using my skill in a field and mentoring younger students to see how far their creativity can go.
I'm very thankful for the people who took out their time to help me try to make this big goal, because this helped me and it benefited me on my next school year.
Me personally, I want to be an industrial engineer, so they also design processes and stuff to make the world better. Me choosing this project, I wanted to actually make a change in our community and our school.
It gives them ownership that they don't have to have a title to be a leader, that you don't have to be a consumer, you can be a creator. I think that it shows them that you can be a simple student and your ideas can be blown into something that millionaires will want.
My favorite part is knowing that we're making an impact, that we are helping shape the minds of the future and creating opportunities for them and their families. That long-term impact they'll see 10, 20, 30 years from now. I may be long gone by then, but I know that the legacy that we've left behind is keeping and pushing our community forward.
From ideas on paper to helping hands in a neighborhood, our creations can make a difference.
That level of creativity made their forensic lesson come alive, and it didn't stop there. Students also explored engineering principles, AI tools, cybersecurity, learned 3D printing, and recreated real-world scenarios to put their curiosity to the test. Through these hands-on projects, they're discovering how STEAM sparks innovation and prepares them for college, careers, and creating real change in their communities. Finally, we land in Seattle. This project stretches across 2 schools, Garfield High School and Foster High School, with support from the Urban League of Metropolitan Seattle. Over the summer at Garfield, students designed and stocked a shed full of resources for their community. The shed was then moved over to Foster High School, where the students and staff there will carry the project forward and expand its impact in even more neighborhoods. Well, let me not give it all away. Let's watch.
Tukwila is an area that has populations of like refugees, immigrants, or people of color that don't have a lot of access to a lot of materials in the shed.
The Little Lab Shed is a community thing where there's those little book things so kids can grab books and read them and then return them.
The purpose of Little Labs is to kind of reimagine what science is and what science can be. So we kind of did this by bringing to light a lot of everyday activities that they might not perceive as science or health, and kind of integrating that into a lot of those different topics. So like for an example, one of the students shared he would like soccer. That's exercise, that's part of your health. So kind of reimagining what community and science all kind of overlap with each other through one specific like everyday activity.
I think the Little Lab Shed is good for the community because sometimes people can't get certain things that they need. So like pads, toys, water bottles, and stuff like that.
It was fun being in Angie's and Ashley's class. We got to paint different pieces of the shed, and we got to make flyers for the shed and list useful things to be in the shed for our community to use. And I made 2 posters.
Something I would use in the shed would probably be the cooling fan, because like right now it's like pretty hot, and like there's like a lot of sports programs here.
I think the impact it had on the students more specifically is that it provided them an outlet to see themselves as a community leader. I feel like a lot of the topics that they were interested in, or a lot of the issues that they thought affected their communities, felt so big. Angie and I are really trying to emphasize that there's small steps that they can take to kind of build that greater community that they're hoping for. Their voice matters, and anything they do is a step forward, no matter how big or small they think the impact will be.
And let's not forget the VR coding class that took place over the summer at Garfield. Let's hear from LeBron's son, Bryce.
So the first thing you need to build a house in VR is imagination. You have to imagine like the type of house you want to build. Me and my group were like on experience with VR headsets, so we kind of like didn't know what to do. But teacher like help us around, allow you learn how to build things with it, like download stuff, use them, and like even film it. I was kind of surprised that I learned some coding stuff because I realized I've never coded in my life. But at the end of the day, I didn't like make a 3D water bottle. You have to like actually think about it. Imagination's like the beginning of everything to build stuff.
From building community sheds to designing in VR, students are learning that STEAM isn't just about textbooks or a classroom. It's about rolling up your sleeves and using your skills and your creativity and taking small steps that can spark big change in your neighborhoods. 5 cities, countless creators, one shared journey. Curiosity leads to innovation. Learning grows into leadership. Through the National Urban League affiliates, students discover that STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts and agriculture, and math is more than learning. It's a movement shaping the future of their communities. I'm June since July, and this has been the National Urban League STEAM Experience, a journey of creativity, growth, and purpose. So until next time, keep exploring, keep building, and keep planting seeds of change.
This is